subscribe, click the bell, and turn on all notifications. The one-stop destination for all WWE and AEW. Sean's View Entertainment.
Now, as everybody knows, this show is about and surrounds and involves WWE, professional wrestling. And as many of my viewers and my fans and my subscribers know, I bring all of you in because you're a wrestling fan, or you were a fan, or you continue to be a fan, or you're a new fan, or maybe you've been watching back in the day, maybe you're watching today. We also talk about not only news and rumors and headlines and gossip and speculation in the WWE. And we bring all of you in, whether it be on a cell phone, a laptop, a desktop, a PC, a TV. We bring all of you into the show. And over the years, there has been many legends and Hall of Famers and current wrestlers that have sadly and unfortunately and untimely passed away, left us far too soon. And sadly and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, for many of you that know this, I've brought up my brother many a times on Sean's View, because my brother was indeed a wrestling fan. Not so much of the current product, more of the 80s and the Austin era, the Attitude Era. Grew up watching wrestling with my father, with my mom. Watched it when I was on closed circuit. Now, my brother, in addition to being a wrestling fan back in the day, was also a big fan of racing and NASCAR and car shows. Also a fan of watching, the NFL, the Patriots. He was known to have a couple of beers from time to time. He was known to have a few parties, lived life on his terms. But it is a very sad day, guys. And again, some of you might know I have a brother who is he's older, but not that much older. You see, there was a lot of years, a lot of difference of age between me and my brother. Me being 35, him sadly and unfortunately out of nowhere dying yesterday at the age of 50 years old. Obviously, there's an age gap there from when my mom had my brother in the 70s and me in the 80s. Again, I'm doing this video so my brother will live on forever, because again, he was my brother. I loved him to death. He meant everything to me. He meant everything to my family, my father, my mom, cousins, aunts, uncle, the family. This goes out to the family of John and anybody that knew John and all his friends. He had countless friends, did my brother. Countless parties. He lived his life. My brother literally lived his life. And even though it was a short life, half a century years old. And when you put it like that, it almost makes him sound like he's older. But at 50 years old, and I'm 35, my parents, luckily, crossed my fingers, my mom who overcame cancer, my dad who overcame skin cancer, my family has battled. They have been through the trenches. And my mom and dad, cross my fingers, are still here to this very day. But there is a massive, massive gap now in my family now that my brother is gone. Of course, he wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their own problems, their own issues, their own demons. And I know people are going to come on here and say what they want to say, and they're going to make up their own observations. But my brother, at 50 years old, died out of nowhere of a brain bleed. It was quick. It was sudden. It was fast. And guys, when I come on here and I talk about wrestlers' deaths, this hits home even worse, obviously. This hits home. This hits on a whole nother level. The vibe is very different because it's your family. It's your blood. It's very significant. It's very prominent. And all I got to say is the last few weeks, my brother really went all out. went with his friends. I went out to eat with him. He went out to eat with my mom, my dad. And again, a lot of you people, again, may not watch this video because it's not wrestling, but he was a wrestling fan. And that is why, again, I bring everybody into the conversation that watches wrestling or used to watch wrestling. And my brother used to watch wrestling. He was around. He was born for the greats like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd. The rock and wrestling era, the MTV era of WWE, as many of you may know. My brother was, sorry guys, this is, again, I'm doing this video because it's about the respect, it is about the honor, it is about the gratitude. And so my brother will live online forever. Now, I don't know if any of you have actually seen my brother on the air. You might have, I think he was on a couple of my live streams. He might have popped in for a beer or so, a beer or two. He might have cracked a couple of cold ones. You might have heard the cracking sound in the background. But I want his memory to last forever. Because, here's the thing. I'm not just some Joe Schmo. I'm on here. I'm a pretty prominent name. I'm a pretty significant name on here. And I'm also doing this video to let everybody know that you got to value life. And literally, I know you hear it all the time probably, but you got to live every day like it's your last. Because, again, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised our next birthday. I was lucky enough to know my brother for as long as I did. I was lucky enough, my family, my mom, my dad, other family members that were close to my brother John. And I'm Sean, John. Sometimes those names are interchangeable. I just can't believe he's gone. I mean, to think that my mom and dad has outlived my brother by about 30 years. He lived life. He lived life in the fast lane. And no matter what you think or say about me, a big chunk of my life, a big chunk of my mom and dad's life has been taken out. And for that, at this stage of the game, at this time, it's unbelievable. It really is. It's a very sad, sad thing. And again, guys, I am doing this to raise awareness to life in general and to how you perceive life and how you look at life. And no matter how bad it might be for you, somebody always has it worse. And this is an emotional time for Sean's View. I was asked, why haven't I been here for the last several days? Why didn't I not see myself? Well, obviously because of the death of my brother at just 50 years old. This is going to be, it's traumatic. I mean, but it's even more, it's even worse at the age of which he was. And, they say the good die young, and my brother was definitely a good one. He was definitely a good one. Well, I'm just going to remember and let the good times roll, and roll they will, of everything that my brother did, all the drinks, all the parties, all his friends, all his family, and everything my brother represented about life. And that representation is going to carry on forever and ever through all the moments and the times and the memories and everything that he was about and all the fun that he had for the short time that he had here on what we call life. He was around for a lot of different eras. He was around for a lot of different times. A changing of the guards, different presidents, different rules, different regulations. He was a high school graduate. Held many jobs. Made some good damn money while he was here. Especially in his 20s and 30s. Many different jobs, varying positions of whether it be in furniture, delivery, cars, what have you. He kind of could do it all from time to time. And I just want to come on here and pay my respects and say rest in peace to my brother John, who I forever will hold in my heart, my mind, my memory. And my mom and dad will also, they would say the same thing. It's about the moments and the memories that you create. There's no illusion. There's no magic here. There's no smoke and mirrors. It was about good time, few drinks, friends, and having those that were close to you that will always remember you because you left a mark. And now we have a scar that's left on all of us now that he has been removed from our life, now that he has been taken away from us at such a young age. You know, it's something because I've been reading this book, Matthew Perry. If you ever watched Friends or you were a fan of Friends, Matthew Perry, this is one of the reasons I'm gonna. This is a hell of a read right now, guys, and you know, because you gotta keep your mind going, you gotta keep your mind busy, and as we all know, Matthew Perry had his demons and he had his issues and he had his problems, and now Matthew Perry was another one that died in his 50s, and my brother was right at 50, so there was some parallels between my brother and Matthew Perry that we don't have to get into here. But it's just something how I was reading this book, and now, as Matthew Perry is no longer with us, and we know now his death is being investigated, as it should. But my brother, there is no investigation, really, because it was just one of those freaky things where, a brain bleed happened, and they couldn't stop it. And that spelled the end of my brother, who... And let me tell you something about my brother. He was a tough SOB. My brother survived car crashes, accidents, race car accidents. He was on a racetrack back in his early 20s. I think it was in his early 20s. And he survived car accidents, car wrecks. My brother was, I'll be honest, my brother was through the ringer. My brother survived a lot of things. He was like a cat. He kind of dog. He had 9 lives. He's saying it just seemed like nothing could stop him. It just seemed like he was unstoppable. Every time you saw him go through something, it's like, oh, this is going to be it. This is the end. But John would just keep bouncing back. John would keep moving forward. John is one of the toughest men I've ever met. One of the toughest men I've ever seen. And to know that he was my brother, I'm seeing met because I haven't seen someone that tough, to come back. The resilience. My brother had a lot of resilience. And I say met, and I'm going to be all over the place. He was my brother. I mean, I say I met him. I obviously knew him. But to know how tough he was and how resilient he was and the fortitude that he had, wow. But I think I'm going to, wrap this thing up and just say rest in peace to my brother. I will always, always remember you. Your family, your friends will never, ever forget you, John. I love you so, so much. And I thank you for everything and everything that you presented, everything that you did, everything that you set out to do, all the time that you put into your family and your friends. All the drinks, all the parties, all the presents, all the time that you gave us. I thank you because time is irreplaceable. Because when you run out of time, there's nothing left. But my brother definitely gave a hell of a lot of his time to his friends and to his family. And for me, being his brother, I could do no better than that one brother that I had, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Rest in peace to my brother John. I'll see you again soon.